Hey everybody, it's Saturday, which means it's time to look at our hottest and coldest teams currently in the NHL, as we do every week. And before we start, I just ask that you please subscribe and hit that thumbs up button if you haven't yet. Both of those things help the channel so much and are greatly appreciated. But let's get into it here. And I've been doing hottest and then coldest, so we're going to switch it up a little bit this week and start with the coldest team. So let's see who really is not playing well right now. Per usual, I use record in last 10 games. Some teams, I guess, haven't played 10 games yet, but for the most part, this is based on record in last 10 games. And at number 5, we have the 5th coldest team in the league right now, the Calgary Flames, who are just 4-5-1 in their last 10, but they've lost 2 straight. And it's not been a great start to the season for Calgary. They thought they were going to be better than this year. Obviously, still plenty of time to turn it around. But so far, not the greatest start to the year for the Flames. And they've lost quite a few games here recently. Number 4, we have the San Jose Sharks, who have not played 10 games yet. They just played their first game in a while because of COVID situations within that division. They are 4-5-0 with 1 win as their current streak because they did win last night over the Anaheim Ducks, but they're still just 4-5 to start the year. Has not been a great start for the Sharks, and they play Anaheim again tonight with a chance to probably get off of this list. If they were to win again tonight, they would certainly get off of this list. But right now, San Jose at 4-5 is at number 4. At number 3, we have a team who's really been struggling here recently, and that is the LA Kings. They're just 3-5-2 in their last 10. They've lost 3 straight, and it's not been a good stretch here for the Kings, unfortunately. As they're a team that I thought could really have a better year this year, and maybe they still will. Maybe they'll start to get things turned around, but at least these past couple weeks have not been kind to the LA Kings. And that 3-game losing streak is tied for longest active streak in the NHL. And then we get to number 2 with the Detroit Red Wings, who are just 1-7-2 with a 3-game losing streak going as well. And to me, there are 2 clear awful teams this year, and everyone else is, at least been able to put some wins on the board. But Detroit and the team sitting at number 1 that we'll talk about in a minute have been the clear-cut worst teams in the league so far this season. And Detroit, again, tied for the longest active losing streak with 3. It's really been brutal for them in their past 10. Only 1 win out of 10 games. That is just, it doesn't get any worse than that, really. Not very often. And finally, that brings us to number 1, who is the Ottawa Senators, who I think are the clear-cut worst team in the league so far this season. Now, they did win their last game. They got an upset victory over the Montreal Canadiens in their last game. They play again today, so we'll see how this second matchup goes. But they are just 1-8-1 in their past 10 games. Obviously, losing 8 out of 10 in regulation is absolutely brutal. Just 3 points out of a possible 20 in those 10 games. It's been an abysmal start to the season for the Ottawa Senators, and honestly, it doesn't seem like that's going to change much over the course of this year. But let's switch things over now to the good side, the hottest teams in the league. These are teams that are playing very well to start the season, and we're going to start at number 5 with the Florida Panthers. The Panthers have only played 8 games, but they're 6-0-2. They won their last game. They have not lost yet in regulation. They are the only NHL team that has not lost yet in regulation. Obviously, as the season goes along and they start to make up some of those games that they've missed, things could change a little bit here. But Panthers are good enough to get on this list at 6-0-2. That 0 in the regulation loss column is very impressive. At number 4 is the Montreal Canadiens. Now, they did lose their last game in very disappointing fashion to the Ottawa Senators, who really had no business beating them, but they're still 7-2-1 in their last 10 games. Montreal's been off to a very good start this year. They've looked great. for most of their games this season. Obviously, the last one was kind of a fluky loss, and hopefully they're able to get back into the win column today because they've had overall a really, really solid start. And, their record is good to start this season. At number 3, we have a team with the same record in their last 10 games, except they won their last game instead of lost, like the Canadiens, which puts them one spot higher, and that is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto has had a phenomenal start to this season. They're also 7-2-1 in their last 10. The games that they are winning, they are dominating for the most part. They look really, really strong. The games that they're losing are close. It's not like they're getting blown out or anything like that. They've played a lot of close games. Haven't been able to win all of them, but man, they've played some dominating win games as well, where they've just completely controlled the game from start to finish. So I've been very, very impressed with the Toronto Maple Leafs so far this season. And they're sitting at number 3 in the hottest teams list. So who's better than Toronto? Well, at number 2, I have the Tampa Bay Lightning, who currently have the longest win streak in the longest active win streak in the NHL at 4 in a row. They're 7-1-1. They obviously haven't played 10 games yet. They're playing their 10th game, though, their next time out. But 7-1-1, only one regulation loss. 4-game win streak, which is the longest active streak in the league. Like I said, it really doesn't get much better than what the Tampa Bay Lightning have been able to do. So really, really, really impressed with them. They've had a phenomenal start to the year, and it's not even like they've played their absolute best yet. They're just finding ways to win every single night for the most part. That brings us to number 1, where I have the Boston Bruins, who are 7-1-2 to start in their last 10 games. They're on a 3-game win streak now, and the reason I have Boston at number 1 is because they are on an 8-game point streak. They have gotten points in every single game they have played since their only regulation loss of the year came back in game number 3 against the New York Islanders. Every game since then, they have gotten at least a point, and they're doing it against top competition as well. The Flyers, the Penguins, the Capitals. They are playing other good teams and teams that are fighting for playoff positioning with them, and Boston is getting points out of every single one of those games, which has launched them to first place in the East Division. And in my opinion, they are the hottest team in the NHL right now. So there you have it, guys. Those are my hot and cold teams for this week in the NHL. Obviously, this list changes every week. We've got teams in different orders, some different teams coming on, some coming off. But for right now, those are my hot and cold teams, and some teams are playing really, really well. Other teams not so much, but things will probably be a little bit different come next week. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon merchandise store and donation link are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.